one of these. Pretty much everybody has one of these. They're often lurking in the back of the cupboard and only taken out once a year at Christmas. Despite the fact that they've had a pretty bad rep in specialty coffee, and there's a lot more, much more expensive equipment available out there, I still think you can get a really decent result with a nice coffee with a cafetiere. So we'd like to show you our recommendation of how to make a really nice cafetiere. So let's start off by heating up our cafetiere. We'll just pour a little boiling water in. And then I think it's really nice to just pour it out into your cup you're going to be using afterwards. That way it's not wasted and it preheats your cup too. To get a good consistent result with making a cafetiere, I think it's really important to use a scale. You can just use a kitchen scale that you have, or you can also get like a special coffee brewing scale. They don't necessarily need to be very expensive, but it's going to mean that you always put exactly the right amount of coffee and water into your cafetiere. I'm going to suggest that with this cafetiere we're making here, which is a 6-cup cafetiere and holds 800 ml in total, that we're going to use 60 grams of coffee for this. I think that's what I like. But if you want your coffee stronger with more body, you can add more. And if you find that too strong for you, you can add a little bit less. I'm putting in just an extra gram because you always lose a little bit in the grinder. The single most important thing you can do to have better coffee is to grind it fresh before you make it. So I would really suggest, if you're going to spend any money at all on making coffee, that you spend it on a grinder. And that can either be a small electric grinder. We recommend the Baratza Encore as a really good starter grinder for brewing at home. Or you can use a little hand grinder. The disadvantage with that is if you're making coffee for a lot of people, quite often it's quite hard work. But if you're just making one coffee for yourself each day with an AeroPress or a little pour over, then a hand grinder is absolutely fantastic. So I've weighed out my coffee and I'm going to pop it in the grinder. So you just pop them in and then switch the grinder on. Can you imagine doing that with a hand grinder? I think that would take longer than the turkey. So we've got our coffee, which, like I say, is a bit finer than coarse breadcrumbs. I think it works really well. So I'm setting my scale to 0 and I'm going to weigh the coffee again as I put it in, because like I said, you can lose some coffee in the grinder. So we've got 60 grams of coffee in our cafetiere, and now I'm going to start the timer and I'm going to start pouring in the water. So we have a total of 800 ml that's going in, so we're going to pour in only half to begin with. And when you're pouring the water in, you want to make sure that the coffee is getting agitated and that there's no dry bits of coffee sitting in the bottom. So I would actually suggest at this stage that you would take a spoon. So you're going to leave the coffee for about 30 seconds to bloom, which is allowing gases to escape from the coffee. Once you've done that, you're going to add the rest of your water. And now we're going to do nothing for the next 4 minutes. So now the cafetiere has been brewing for 4 minutes, and what we're going to do is we are going to basically clean the top of it. Basically gonna scoop off all of the froth and foam and stuff that's on the top of this cafetiere. And then we're going to place that just on top. Don't push it down, just place it right on top. And then we're going to leave this for another 3 minutes. So now that you've left it sitting for another few minutes, you may have noticed that your coffee has become a lot more clear and all the little bits have fallen down to the bottom. So it's really important at this stage that you don't agitate the coffee at all. So be really careful when you lift it. And now we're just going to pour it out, and we're basically just using this plunger as a wee sieve to make sure that no bits of coffee come out into your cup. And now we know that you can fit 6 cups of coffee into this mug. That's how you can brew the perfect cup of coffee, or 6 cups of coffee, in a cafetiere. I hope you enjoy it.